Hey everyone, my name is Sophie from Sophisticated Organization. Today's video is going to be another Sophisticated Saturday, but it's extra special because I am going to bake a cake to celebrate 3 years of Sophisticated Organization. I'm also gonna get some stuff done around the house as I always do on Saturdays. I always have a long to-do list, so we need to do some of those things as well. But if you guys are ready, let's jump right into it because I can't wait to bake this cake.
Talking to each other, I know we feel the same about the situation, like we're stuck inside a game. Time to get out of this circle, yeah, we both carry.
Like I said, the reason I decided to bake this cake was to celebrate 3 years of my business, Sophisticated Organization, but it's also because I love to bake. I love spending time in the kitchen, and making a layer cake is just a skill that I want to have and something I want to get better at. The first time I made a layer cake, I made a layered rainbow layer cake for Sophisticated Organization's first birthday and just kind of fell in love with the process and learning how to get better at it. And so I've made a few cakes in between, but I thought this would be as good of an occasion as any to try my skills again.
All colors will fade. Let's go our own way. Now's the time to decide what to do, and I'll stand by you.
So once I finish the batter, I'm gonna take the beater off, and I was trying to scrape off all of the extra batter, but looks like I have somebody who'd rather help me clean off the beater a little bit, so I'm handing that off to my husband. Going to add in some sprinkles because this is a funfetti cake, and then to prep the cake pans, I always add butter to the bottom and then sprinkle in some flour, kind of move it around a little bit and then tap it out into the sink. That way the cake just pops right out of the cake pan. It is the best way to do it. If you guys are somebody who uses Pam or anything like that, I would recommend you try this method. It works every single time for me.
It's time for us to follow our dreams. No, we can't stay no more. Come run away. Don't be afraid. We'll be okay. And I know it's the right thing to do. Let's break away. All colors will fade.
The other tip I have learned in my journey to become better at baking layered cakes is to use cake strips. So these purple strips that I'm adding to the outside of the cake pans are what's called cake strips, and you can purchase them online. I got these from Amazon. I'll link them in the description box below. But you can also make your own using tinfoil and wet paper towels. But basically what you do is wet these cake strips and wrap them around the cake pans, and that helps to make sure you get an even bake on your cake. So that will avoid having a top that rises really high or sides that get really burnt with a raw inside. It just turns out much more even using the cake strips because it cools that outside so the outside doesn't cook faster than the inside.
Come run away. Don't be afraid. We'll be okay. And I know it's the right thing to do. Let's break away. All colors will fade. Let's go our own way.
With the cakes in the oven, I'm just gonna empty the dishwasher and do the load of dishes in the sink just to try and keep my workspace as clean as possible. When you're baking a layered cake or cupcakes, things that usually have multiple parts to it, so something that's, a cake and a frosting, things get out of hand so quickly in the kitchen and you can get really behind on the dishes. So I just need to pause while it cooks and get on top of it.
You stepped into my life, such a magic feeling when you tore down my walls. I wish I could go back to right before you told me I'd try to change it all. But look at us now, we could have gone so far. It hurts to realize we're parted. Yeah, look at us now, this is who we are. And I just know things will never be the same. We're like strangers again. Strangers again. We're like like strangers again.
I am giving my sink area a pretty good clean. I know it's just going to get messier throughout this process because I'm going to have a lot more dishes to do, but I want to make it as clean as possible, at least for now.
Like strangers again. I thought we'd never fall. Could have tried much harder. Now all we have are scars. You said we'd get so high, higher up than heaven. You said we'd reach the stars. But look at us now, could have gone so far. It hurts to realize we're parted. And look at us now, this is who we are. And I just know things will never be the same. Like strangers again, strangers again.
So I'm testing my cakes. They look like they're done. I'm going to pull them out. And this recipe called for 2 different frostings. One that was a little bit thicker to help keep the structure of that cake. You don't want to have a lighter, fluffier frosting when you're building a layer cake. It will completely slide apart and fall down. So you want a thicker frosting, but it also had a lighter, fluffy frosting to have on the outside and to top the cake with as well. And the frosting that I'm starting with right now is that thicker frosting that's going to go in between the layers and help build the crumb coat, which is the first layer of frosting to help create the actual shape of the cake. And this frosting turned out pretty well. It was a little bit thicker than I probably would have liked it to be, but it turned out just fine, and I decided to split it into 2 separate containers and add my sprinkles to it so there'd be a little fun surprise when you cut into it in the frosting. And I wanted 1 part to be white and 1 part to be blue. And I do say I wanted it to be that way because it doesn't quite turn out that way, but I think it turned out just fine anyway.
Strangers again.
Even though my cakes aren't done and cooled yet, I'm just going to put them into their piping bags and get everything all set up. Once my cakes are cooled, then I'll have them ready to go.
It's been so long I can't remember your taste now, and the weight of your touch. It's been so long I can't remember what it felt like to drown in your love. It's like I've been walking here for days, lost in the dance, so babe, I cannot forget you. All I need is 1 drop and then all will be forgotten, babe. Can't live without you. You're like water, baby, water.
Now I'm starting the process for the second frosting that's going to be nice and light and fluffy. And so I'm adding egg whites and cream of tartar as well as some sugar and getting that beating while I have on the stove top some sugar and water that I'm boiling and trying to get it to about 235 degrees. You're then going to slowly add it into your mixture that's whipping with the egg whites, cream of tartar, and sugar.
Lost in the dance, so babe, I cannot forget you. All I need is 1 drop and then I would be forgotten, babe. Can't live without you.
Look how perfect that comes out of the pan. That funfetti cake looks awesome. So with that second frosting, you do need to let it whip for quite a while to completely cool down. And remember, we had that hot sugar just added to it. So I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning tasks while I let that whip and cool off. So I'm cleaning up the living room, then gonna head to the bathroom, give everything a quick wipe down in there, and just multitask while that frosting cools.
It's like I've been walking here for days. All I need is 1 drop and then I would be forgotten, babe. You're like water, baby, water, water, water.
So after doing a little bit of cleaning, I felt like it had been beating for quite some time and thought everything was cool. So I added the paddle attachment to my mixture and decided it was time to start adding in the butter. And boy, was I wrong. When it's not completely cooled and if you start adding the butter in, it will actually curdle, and that's what happened to my frosting. It completely curdled. I tried Googling how to save it by sticking it in the fridge or the freezer and trying to rapid chill it and then rebeat it. I tried everything and it was just a lost cause. I didn't have enough ingredients to redo it, so I had to throw this frosting away, which was really disappointing, but decided to work with what I had, and you'll see, I think the cake still turns out nice and pretty. It's just not the look I was going for.
I just wanna see you on my new grave before you turn around and walk away. Hey, 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 I just wanna see you on my new grave. I can do my thing.
Time to build the layers. I decided to do a blue layer, then a white layer, and then a blue layer of frosting. Now on the outside, I did kind of want to create a little bit of a pattern with the blue and white that mirrored what was on the inside. And then I was hoping to cover it in that lighter frosting, but of course that didn't happen. And you'll see once I start kind of blending the outside and moving things around, it basically just turned into a blue cake. And I was hoping for it to be a white cake with a blue drip on top of it. So when I had the cake turn out blue, it did present a little bit of a predicament. So I had to kind of think on my feet and be creative.
Hey, I just wanna see you on my new grave. Hey, I just wanna see you on my new grave before you turn around and walk away. Hey, I just wanna see you on my, I just wanna see you. I can do my thing. I can do my
Again, with the blue cake, I didn't want to do the drip white because it actually looked more like a cream color, and that wasn't what I was going for. So I tested out what it would look like if I did a dark blue and kind of liked it. It felt like it was very sophisticated organization blue. If you follow me on Instagram or have been noticing the colors that I use on YouTube with all of my branding as well, it is all this kind of blue and tealish color. So it did actually work out, and I liked the blue on blue.
Uno, dos, tres.
Now it's time to clean the kitchen again. For some reason that paddle attachment was just stuck on there, but I finally got it off. Then I'm gonna head over, wipe off my KitchenAid mixer, and start to clean off the countertops. I don't know about you, but it is such a good feeling when you can kind of just say the kitchen is closed. You've prepped what you need to prep, you've cooked what you need to cook, and you've done all the dishes, you wiped down all the surfaces, and everything is perfectly clean. And you can just say, no one else enters, the kitchen is clean, let's leave it alone for a while and just enjoy it. I did have to take out my razor blade to kind of get off some of the little stuck parts from baking this cake. I think some of the sugar that had boiled on the pan left little droplets and they just crusted onto the countertop. So that little razor blade was perfect to help get it off. Now the dishes in the dishwasher are still running, so I'm just gonna pre-wash everything and stick it in the mixer bowl. So once the dishes are done, I can easily move these over to the dishwasher because they've all been rinsed off and they're clean and I don't have a bunch of gross stuff sitting in my sink. So a little behind the scenes for you. I did post a picture on my Instagram of this cake, and so I do take all of my photos myself. I don't make my husband take any of my photos, so I just set it up on a tripod and do an automatic timer and just try the shot a few times till I get something I like. Done with the kitchen, and I'm gonna head into my office and put some shoes away into our giant shoe cabinet. My husband and I do share this space, so it looks like a lot of shoes, but it's for both of us. Now, I let my office get a little bit crazy throughout the week, and I didn't take the time on Friday after work to finish cleaning it up. So today, on Saturday, I need to clean off the surface. I'm gonna pick up the floor, get anything off of there. There's some things plugged into the outlets, and then I'm gonna vacuum everything. Now, I try to be really good about emptying my vacuum every single time, but that just doesn't happen. And this was actually 2 uses of the vacuum, so I'm going to go ahead and empty it and get everything out of the filter and then look at the bottom and see if there's any of my hair stuck in it and cut that out and clean it up completely. hope you guys enjoyed this video and hanging out with me while I struggled to figure out how to bake this cake and got a few things done around the house. If you guys liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, and until next time, I will see you guys later.